Last time that the NFL had to use replacement officials was in 2012.
For more, log on to theGameNashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
All hell's about to break loose. Houston's coming to town. That is the last team on earth that Illinois wants to see. If Illinois beats Houston, I will get on here next week and say, you know what? After further review, I was wrong. But until that time, Illinois is soft. Beating Penn doesn't prove anything. Beating VCU doesn't prove anything. Hello again, everybody, and welcome in on a sarcastic Monday in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm at my homestead. Kelly Holcomb is at his. And Kelly, you might want to say goodbye to Parker because he won't be with us much longer.
That is awesome, man. I love it because you have been riding Illinois. Illinois is talented, man. I mean, Michigan can make you look like that. You made your judgment on that game, and I'm going to go back to what I say about Kelvin Sampson. There's something there. They can't get over the hump. Everybody said Houston's going to win it this year. They got the national championship game last year, but for some reason he just can't. I don't know if it's his practices. I don't know if he wears the kids down during the year. I don't know what it is. They don't have a good stretch in this. I don't know, but Illinois is pretty good there, George.
Yes, I'm having to admit, but I admitted it on Friday. I was wrong. That's one of the things that happens, Kelly, in sports talk radio. If you try to give predictions, and you're going to be wrong some. Hopefully not this.
Got to have an opinion. You got to have an opinion, and we all know what the expression about opinions are sometimes. But man, Illinois, they're quite athletic. All these teams are. You know, I think Connecticut, and I know we'll talk about this, but I think Connecticut's probably the lowest. That was a crazy game yesterday.
Oh, unbelievable. So have you noticed that Parker, for the moment, is not with us?
I have.
Okay, so while we don't have him with us, let's take advantage of that time, shall we?
Sure.
Kelly, this whole thing about replacement officials in the NFL, have they forgotten what a joke that was in 12?
Yeah, I don't. It's kind of crazy,
well.
George. And yeah, it's no, it did not. And I have problems with the main officials, to be honest with you. So, like, you're putting replacement officials in too. Like, what are we doing?
Well, they better be very careful because here's the thing. The general public knows that the NFL makes gobs of money.
Yep.
Now, I have no idea what the officials are asking for, if it's outrageous or whatever. But the general public is not going to sit there and back the NFL when they know how much money they make, especially if the officials will come out and say, here's what we're asking for.
I'm with you. It's a cash cow, George. I've talked about that. And, you know, everybody deserves a little bit. And once again, man, I have a problem with the regular officials, man. I can't even imagine replacement officials. I think the game is, I don't know. It's just a different game nowadays, George. It's a different game in college, man. It's I don't know it's breeding that, but the NFL right now is a cash cow, and everybody needs to reap the reward of that, especially the referees. I mean, hey, I get where they're coming from.
Let's bring Parker in. He's at his homestead. Hello, Parker. How are you?
Did you like that little intro that I put together?
Yes, you're gone.
I did like the intro, Parker. That's awesome.
It was pretty good.
Oh, I had to pull that. Give credit to Taylor Barnette. He's the person that jogged my memory of which show came from. So
he's the instigator.
He is the instigator, but yeah,
Kelly,
no, he did good work.
Kelly, Taylor texted me Thursday night as it was becoming obvious that Houston was not going to get it done, and so he sends me. I'm trying to find it here, something to the effect of, so let me see if I've got this right. Illinois is soft. And my response to that was, go to bed.
Yeah, you're wasting valuable hours up messing with George when you've got a child.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do plenty of that today. By the way, thanks, George, for stealing my thunder because I was going to lead off with the NFL stuff and the referees.
Okay, well, lead off with whatever you want to.
I do have a little bit of detail on what they're asking for. So as of right now, they're making the average NFL official is making around $385,000, which seems like good money to the average person, but compared to the other major leagues, they're making significantly less. So they're asking for a little bit more. And
well,
also,
whoa. Hold on a second.
The other ones have significantly longer seasons, though.
Yeah.
More games.
More games.
So you're saying that in a 17-game season, this is called
Math by George. Yeah, math by George.
Yeah.
Okay. $385,000.
Yes.
Okay, over 17 regular season games, 22,647. Not bad work if you can get it. What do they want?
Here's what they're wanting. They're wanting an increase in pay. That's the first thing. They're wanting an increase in the probationary period for new officials from 3 years to 5 years. They're wanting a shortening of this dead period that they have to allow for more training. So basically, the lower performing officials would also work UFL or USFL or whatever it is. And they're wanting a reduced senior-based approach to cover playoff games and replace those assignments based on performance.
Okay. That's a lot of gibberish.
That is a lot of gibberish.
That's what they're asking for.
It's a lot of
and
gibberish.
I don't think they're going to solve anything.
So they're making $22,000 a game. Is that what we're saying, George?
That's
the
what
average.
It looks like.
That's not bad for 3 hours of work.
$385,000 divided by 17 is that number right there.
$22,647. I mean,
not bad.
You referee a game for 3 hours a week. Like, I get it. Maybe you're not up with the other ones, but like we talked about, they have many more games than you. I don't know. If I'm going after something, I'm going after retirement stuff. I'm not worried about all that other stuff.
How much of this factors into the fact that the NFL is also the biggest professional sports league in the United States?
Well, here's where the officials have the NFL by the you-know-what. When they tried this in 2012, it was an absolute disaster. And so the general public doesn't want to see that. They're sitting there saying there's enough money to go around for everybody. You know, you're playing all these extra games. You're pimping out your schedule to Wednesday night to Thursday night, 17 games on Christmas. You know, the general public doesn't want to hear it.
But I will say this, George, 2012 and 2026, people have short memories and they don't remember stuff like that. And If these replacement guys come out and they botch it up, then yeah, everybody's pissed off. But if they come out and they do okay and they let the teams play, no, it's once again, it's one of those deals where nobody truly cares. It's about these guys that get in trouble, but they're really talented and they come back on a team or somebody else gets them. Nobody cares until the referees screw up. Nobody cares.
Kelly, in a related note, as you know, the new challenge system for balls and strikes is now in play. And C.V. Buckner, who has been considered over the years one of the worst umpires in the game, got absolutely nailed over the weekend in a Red Sox-Cincinnati game. They challenged, I don't know, it was like 8 pitches. In 6 of them, he was wrong.
Oh, boy, really?
Whoops.
So the challenge deal is just like anything else. If you win the challenge, you don't lose that challenge. You keep going.
You know, I haven't read exactly what they're using. On the minor league level, I think it was you could do 3 a game, each team. But the thing is, it's done in 15 seconds.
Right.
It's not any of this go into the peep show and, and act like world peace is at hand.
Right.
That thing just like that.
Yeah.
On the minor league level, it was really good, and I think it'll work well on the major league level as well. But maybe not for C.V. Buckner.
All right. I got more stuff to get to. Lots of stuff to get to in today's update. The Final Four set, Illinois and UConn, will be the first game on Saturday, followed by Arizona and Michigan. George, I think that is just going to be the national championship game. I think those are the 2 best teams. Illinois, according to you, is just happy to be along for the ride. I think UConn's pretty deserving. By the way,
hold on, not so fast. Arizona, Michigan feels like a national title game, right?
Right. Yep.
In the past, when that kind of thing has happened, the team that plays the other game oftentimes
wins.
is more fresh on Monday night, hasn't gone through quite the war. I'm not saying anything other than don't be so sure it's Arizona or Michigan. It might not be.
And that's what everybody's saying too, Parker, is Arizona, Michigan is a national title game. So George is right. Like, those 2 teams are really good. The other 2 teams are really good as well, but those 2 teams are physical. They're big. Mm-hmm. They're going to take a lot out on each other, and they think, if we win this game, I mean, this other game's not, has something to do with it.
Michigan's a 1.5 point favorite, and Illinois is a 2.5 point favorite in the other one as of right now. I thought that was interesting. All right. Did you guys see the UConn shot yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Of course we did.
Do you want me to play it? I can go ahead and get it queued up here.
Do you
want me to wait?
Your instructions from your director, that will happen later.
Okay. I can play it later. Will Wade was reintroduced today as the LSU head basketball coach. I did see one quote from the presser, and he said, we're going to make history either way. Either we're going to win a national title, or I'm going to be the first coach to be fired twice from the same school.
Well, I'll say this. He is a lightning rod, and I don't think he did NC State right.
It kind of seems that way too, George. But I want to ask you, like, LSU is they've won national titles in football. They've won national baseball. They're, with Skip Berkman and all those. I mean, he was really good for a long time, and then was this other guy. But like in basketball, like I don't remember basketball until Chris Jackson, the guy that we talked about who changed his name, and Shaquille O'Neal. I don't remember that, and I don't remember anything about LSU basketball until I was growing up. That's the only time I think about LSU basketball. Have they been good since?
In '86, they made a run to the Final Four with Ricky Blanton, the late Don Redden, Dale Brown. And then
Right.
they made a run to the Final Four under Glenn Baby Davis. In between has been some weird stuff where sometimes they've been good, but sometimes they've been at the absolute bottom of the league. And attendance at the Maravich Center has been awful. In the upper level of that place, you could hide anybody.
Yeah, I will watch some midweek games versus Tennessee when Tennessee's playing there sometimes. I'm like, my gosh, there's nobody there. Friends and family. That's who they're
And
playing in
yet
front of.
it seats about 14, and
Yeah.
it used to rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NC State does have their next head coach. They hired Justin Gainey, who's the father of Jordan Gainey, who was the sixth man for Tennessee last year. He was a player for the Wolfpack in the late 80s, early 90s, and coached there for a little bit, and now he's back as the head coach.
It's a weird job. I mean, can you win a national title at NC State? Yeah, Jim Valvano proved that. Can you get them to Elite Eights, Sweet 16s? You can. But a lot like LSU, it has periods where they're up here and then boom, crash land.
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
We'll see. We'll
and
see.
They're
I
fighting
think
Duke and North Carolina.
True.
That's like fighting City Hall.
There was a very interesting baseball series this weekend in Nashville. Not interesting for one team, very interesting for the other. Vandy sweeps Tennessee in 3 games, and each of those games were decided by a walk-off by Vandy. The game on Saturday went to 16 innings, and Vandy won on a walk-off grand slam yesterday afternoon.
Heard.
So I would describe these teams as okay. Probably both of them are going to be 3 seeds in the NCAA tournament if they both get in. Tennessee has fallen dramatically from winning the national title 2 years ago to where they are today. I look at their lineup, they don't scare me. Vandy, they got better pitching this weekend than they've been getting, and that will be the key to whatever they're going to do from here on in. But I'm sure the ability to shove 3 in a row down Tennessee's throat was probably pretty fulfilling.
George, who is the George Parker? Who is the team in the SEC this year, or is the SEC down? Kind of like, I don't know if you could call the SEC basketball season down from what it was last year, which it was. But what about baseball? Who is the teams to beat this year in baseball, and are they down in the SEC?
You want to take that, George?
I think Mississippi State is one you better pay attention to. Texas is another one. Ole Miss is a third. There are a bunch of them. They'll probably get 10, 11 teams in the tournament. I think it's too early to know who's the most dominant. Mississippi State sure looks good.
Georgia's in there for sure. There's a cluster. I think Texas is probably the best, though, Kelly, to answer your question. I haven't watched a lot of college baseball, so we'll see. The Predators are on a 3-game losing streak. Their most recent loss came yesterday, 3-2 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're still in playoff contention. They're in the final wild card spot ahead of the Kings. They're 1 point ahead, and they start their 6-game road stretch in LA on Thursday night.
This is not going to be easy. And ultimately, the loss Thursday night to New Jersey on a crappy call really hurt this team. They were not really very competitive Saturday against Montreal, played way better against Tampa, and got nothing to show for it. They will play 5 more in a row on the road. And Kelly, they're going to have to get some points. Their goal should be to get to those final 3 games all at home with a chance. That ought to be their goal.
Yeah, road
By the
games
way,
are tough, man.
in fairness to Andrew Barnette, they got screwed over again yesterday on a call that really hurt them. This go round, Andrew Barnette let the officials have it. Good
He
for
was
him.
listening
Good
to
for
you.
him.
He was listening to
Yeah,
you.
good
That's
for
why he
him.
did that.
I don't think he cares what I think.
The last thing for me, Gus Malzahn is the newest member of the CFP selection committee. He starts that this spring.
I like that. We need more coaches in there. We need more people that can do the eye test. David Cutcliffe's retired. Watson Brown's retired. Let's put a few of them in and get some of these ADs the hell out.
Is Gus Malzahn out of coaching now?
Yes.
I guess so.
He
Retired
is.
at Florida
Yeah.
State.
Florida State. He retired.
Yeah.
Okay, I had not heard that.
So, and let me say this. There's some ADs that will do a good job. There are others who are in there just simply as resume builders. We don't need that. We need football people who know what the hell they're talking about. Thank you.
Agreed. Step on your pedestal
Well
there,
said.
George. Preach it, baby.
I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done.
Beautiful. Okay, after the break, we will show you the play that got UConn in the Final Four, and we will ask Lee Fowler, was that a coaching screw up, or did somebody panic wearing blue and white? This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
We're back on this Monday afternoon. If you have not seen the play, that got UConn in the Final Four were about to show it. Parker, is Lee Fowler ready, raring to go?
I don't see Lee Fowler sitting in his chair. I see him in backstage. Oh, there he is.
Okay. Let's run the play, and then we'll get some reaction to it. Go.
Get it into Boozer, back for Saar, ahead, Boozer, that ball deflected and stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds, Mullins tosses it up. Oh! It's good! We're point 3! UConn goes in front!
Unbelievable. I don't think it's going to show Dan Hurley headbutting the official or get close, but it's in there somewhere.
It's over! UConn still has the March magic! The Huskies are once again going to the...
Yes, they are. And we bring Lee Fowler, NCAA basketball selection chairman back in 2002 to our microphones. Lee, you realize that's a play they're going to be talking about 30 years from now.
Yeah, it really is. And the big thing, George, I think, is that the coach could figure out 10 different ways he can't lose the game if he'd done something different. But unfortunately, you know, it was also a Connecticut mistake that got him to get the ball back. There were 2 guys wide open at the other end of the court. He was going to throw it over their heads and the game's over. And he didn't need to do anything, but, you know, that's hindsight. But those guys jumped up and tipped it, and that's how they got the ball back. But they could have thrown a long pass, any one of them, because there were 2 guys down there by themselves. So that's a tough one. That's the ones that you hate in coaching, that you could have figured out a way what you should have done, what you could have done. But, you know, and then the guy's got to make a 40-footer to beat you also. So, and they did, you know, they had a chance when they had free throws to cut it to 1. He misses his free throw, which cuts it to 2. Most coaches would ask him to miss the second one if you're Hurley, and things were going on at warp speed at that time. And he makes it, and then they get the ball back and win. I mean, it was a definite luck by UConn, because very seldom would you ever see those kind of situations end up being positive for the same team that was behind by 3.
I'm going to assume, because I think he's a pretty darn good coach, that John Shire told them all of this in the huddle. You know, if you get into a position where you're in trouble, they got to foul you. Is your guess that a player panicked?
No, I think he did. You know, you practice so much, and Kelly knows this in football. And when you see something that's wide open, you're thinking, just got to throw it over these guys' heads. But somebody did a heck of a job of intercepting it and knocking it down and then passing it up. But 10 seconds left, a lot can happen. So, you know, you would hope the point guard, and you know, the other Boozer didn't play that much this year until the last 10 games or so. He really played a lot of minutes, but it's a tough situation. There's a guy in Chapel Hill that lost his job because he lost after being 19 points ahead. And that's what they were over Connecticut, 19 points ahead. So it's a tough sport. It's even tougher now when you don't have them 4 or 5 years and know exactly what they need to do, because you beat it in their head for 4 years instead of 1 year. But those are tough games. There've been a couple in this tournament that you could just feel for the coach that lost, because they had the game won, and then all of a sudden everything right went down the stretch for the other team.
Lee, is it your opinion that UConn today you would put in the 4 hole of the 4 teams?
Yeah, because I don't think offense from the defense is very good as the other teams. I think, you know, they were really good defensively, but offensively they're like top 30. I think they struggle from time to time, and Michigan and Arizona and Illinois offensively, they're so good, but also they're so big. I had no idea how good all three of them were until we've seen them this last week. And at this point in the season, guys are ready to play. You don't overlook anybody. And boy, those three teams ready to play just have been beating people like they stole something. I mean, it's really been impressive when they're playing defense and offense and everybody's on the same page. So it's going to be a great Final Four. I mean, I couldn't tell you my life depended on between Michigan and Arizona. And I think Illinois will beat the Huskies. And so it's going to be a really good Final Four. I kind of look at it like, you almost wish they would reseed at this point because you wouldn't have Michigan and Arizona playing in the semis. You would have them to meet in the finals if they both won. So they've talked about that. We've talked about that. They just feel like it's not right to do it after the tournament starts, but it wouldn't surprise me someday that TV will say, look, we got to have the best game, hopefully, for the championship. Let's don't have our two best teams play. And it's happened before, George, in '83 when NC State.
Oh, my God. That's
Louisville
the poster child.
Yeah, Houston and Louisville played. And, that was the two best teams. And then NC State beat the team that won, or beat Houston. So it's happened before. I kind of look at this, but I mean, Illinois is better than NC State was then. And Illinois can, they're big and they can play defense and can score. So it's going to be a great Final Four. Even, the best part, if you don't have a team in it, is just to watch good, solid, tough basketball.
Lee, you brought up the one that for me is the poster child. 83 at the Pit in Albuquerque. The second game of the doubleheader on Saturday was Phi Slamma Jamma versus the Doctors of Dunk, Houston and Louisville. And everybody forgot about old NC State. And by the way, Georgia, the year after Dominique Wilkins graduated, with Terry Fair as one of their big leaders, got to the Final Four. Only time in school history that Georgia has done that. What goes on that leads to that kind of deal where the two Godzillas just beat the hell out of each other, and then Monday night they've got nothing left?
Well, and I'm not so sure it's so much not left. Emotionally, they feel like they've won it after beating the other team. They think they beat the best team in the tournament besides them. And so I think it's emotions more than it is being spent, because these guys they've all got 8 or 9 guys that can play. And let's face it, Georgia, every 4 minutes you stop and sit over to the side and play commercial for 3 minutes. I mean, it's not as tough as it once was, where the game stayed out on the court a lot longer. You didn't rest as much. So but this could happen this year, just like you said, and I think that's really important. A side story to that, George. The guy sitting right in front of me in Albuquerque at that game, I'll never forget it, was UNLV's coach, chewing on his towel, and we were in the upper deck because that Albuquerque is like a 17,000 seat arena, and the Tark was sitting right in front of me, and I told him I was at Memphis State, and he was wearing Louisville and Houston out for cheating, and I always thought that was so. Clark was talking about why they're always there is because they do things illegal, and so that was my experience at that tournament game that NC State won it.
I believe that's the statement is the pot calling the kettle black.
I would say that's yes.
Lee, let me ask you one thing on the Rick Barnes life here. Okay, now 3 times he has gotten Tennessee to the Elite Eight. 3 times he's had to play a 1 seed. He took Purdue to the wire when they had Zach Edey. He got the hell beat out of him twice. And do you worry that ultimately his fan base kind of turns and says, until you get us to the Final Four, we don't want to hear it?
Well, let's hope not, because that's further than anybody else had ever taken them before. And, that's consistently, and And guys, Izzo and a bunch of them included, did that before they ever got to the Final Four and then started going to the Final Four every year. I don't know how much longer Rick's going to coach. We know that his assistant got hired away. One of his assistants got hired away to NC State, or there hadn't been publicly announced, but supposed to have something on Wednesday for Justin Gainey. And so you just don't ever know what's left in the tank. That's frustrating to have a game like they played. You know, we talked about it last week that UT during the tournament didn't look like the team we'd seen a lot down the stretch in the second half of the tournament. I mean, in the regular season. Then all of a sudden they played lights out. So it was tough yesterday or day before to watch them have one of those 5 or 6 minute runs without scoring. And of course, against a team like Michigan, you can't do that, or they just get so far ahead you can't catch up.
The run was 21-0. I think, Lee, what bothers me the most is Tennessee had a great win Friday night. Out-rebounded Iowa State, I don't know, like 20. Amazing performance. Hello there. Who is that?
That is I am babysitting, and that's my 4-year-old grandson, whose first name is Fowler. And
Really?
Fowler has come to me with an iPad that he can't get to work and expecting Pop-Pop to fix it. So you know that's not going to happen. So
No,
Send him over
you've
to the
come to the
house. I
wrong.
know
You've come to the wrong guy there, Fowler.
Actually, sometimes I can get out of some stuff, but just this one I can't really get out.
yeah,
I'm going to say your grandfather. He's not technologically sound, there, brother.
Fowler, this is George. I'm your man.
Yeah, George could fix it in a second.
George will get you squared away.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Hey, George is like me. Turn it off and turn it back on, see if it works.
That's right.
So Fowler is 4, and where does he live?
Fowler lives in Mount Juliet, and my 2-year-old, I had taken a nap with him, and he's sleeping right now. So if you hear kind of a watery sound in the background, that's his sound machine that he's sleeping to. So Carol had to go out for a while, and Pop-Pop's in trouble. But, you know, what the heck? You do the best you can.
Okay, we'll go to the break. When we come back, Kelly Holcomb and then Parker Kelly will have questions for the grandfather of the year, Lee Fowler, on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you.
Major League Rugby's biggest rivalry is hitting Nashville. Major League Rugby is taking over the Music City for one epic weekend as the Chicago Hounds take on the reigning champions, the New England Free Jacks. It's the Music City Rugby Showdown, live at Geodis Park on Sunday, April 19th, kicking off at 3 p.m. Hard hits, nonstop action. Major League Rugby's biggest rivalry hits the biggest stage in Nashville. Don't wait, tickets will go fast. You can get your tickets at chicagohounds.com.
Replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
So we now have our Final Four that is very top-heavy with a lot of chalk. Former NCAA selection chairman Lee Fowler is with us for a Monday visit. Kelly, what do you got for him?
Lee, I'm going to go back to the Duke situation. George kind of already asked the question, but I was looking up, and I'm obviously not a basketball guy. I enjoy watching this time of year and finals things. But when you look up and being a ball player and you see 10.0 seconds left, so you don't have to get the ball across half court. The game's going to be over. As a coach, and I'm sure he said this, but what do you do in that situation? Because you don't have to stress. You're right. There were two guys down there that were wide open, but you don't have to do anything. Make them foul you. And I don't know where the arrow was. I don't know if it was in Duke's favor or I don't know if it was in UConn's favor. It's in Duke's favor, then it's cool because I can get tied up and the ball's still going to go back to me. But let them foul you because we don't have to get the ball over half court. How does that happen?
Yeah, I don't think that he probably thought about that. And there were 10 seconds left, and he may have had to get it across, but they were not in any hurry because when they got the ball back, they had almost that much. He dribbled twice and shot the ball, and so I just think that in his mind, and Connecticut knew that because they had everybody on that end of the court. So they
absolutely
knew Duke wasn't going to try to score. So I think it was just a vapor time for that young man, and he wished that he'd have just dribbled on across. And it's usually you got a big guy that catches it there, and he does something like that. But point guard usually doesn't do that. A point guard gets it, and that's who you want it to end up in his hands. And he threw it. It was heartbreaking, even though my son-in-law jumped up like they'd won the World Series because he's a Carolina fan. He hates Duke. So every made shot makes somebody happy and somebody sad. But that was a heartbreaker. Almost like the one that when Kentucky won against Santa Clara, the same that put them into overtime. But there's just no way you're going to lose the game, and then all of a sudden you've lost it. That's just. It's hard to get over. I'm telling you, it'll take them months to get over that. And luckily, there's no more games for them to play. But because they felt like they had a team that could win the national championship, and I'm not so sure they did. I'm not so sure they could beat Michigan or Arizona. So, and I'm not sure they beat Illinois. Illinois, I think size bothered them, and they had not really played anybody with really big size, where they're 4 or 5 deep at big size. So if you take a little bit of the game where you don't be able to double Boozer down, then it really takes away from their game because those guys aren't shooting threes. He's playing one-on-one against somebody longer than he is. I think it would have really put them in a lot of pressure for the next 2 games they were going to play.
Dan Hurley said it after the game, but it was kind of the UConn mentality, and there's something to be said about that because I don't think Duke, or not Duke, but UConn, I don't think UConn is one of the top 4 teams, but it's amazing that Dan Hurley has got them to the Final Four, and he's won 2 national championships in 3 out of 4 years. What kind of coach is he?
Well, he's pretty good. The first 2 teams were really good teams. He was you still got to win games like he won last night. They're not as good this year. I mean, I think that they're probably maybe one of the 10 top teams, 12 top teams in the country. And so it's probably more credit to him this year. But it always helps, Kelly, that you, as you know, is you expect to get to certain places. And that team, they went there thinking they were going to play in Final Fours. And so that helps, especially if you have a meltdown like Duke did yesterday. That helps a ton. So, you know, the biggest thing I think about 19-point leads is that everybody thinks the game's won. And sometimes those guys that are looking for that second round pick in the NBA take a couple quick shots and all of a sudden they miss. The other guy gets it and goes down and gets a three-pointer. I mean, it shifts pretty quickly with good teams. And I think a lot of that, Duke took I think they took some shots when they were up a bunch that they didn't need to and took them quick. And sometimes that part of coaching is the tough part because the guy thinks, well, I'm not going to lose the game if I miss this shot because we're 19 ahead. And so sometimes it all changes back then instead of what happens at the end of the game.
I was thinking yesterday, the metric sheet that you talk about with the defense and the statistics that you talk about, how many of these teams in the Final Four, or maybe the Elite Eight, fell into that category of your metrics?
Well, the four that are in there are all in the metrics. They're all top 30 defensively and top 31 offensively, 28 defensively, and all of them are in there. Even Illinois is in there. Illinois barely got in on defense, but Michigan, Arizona, UConn was 26 in offense and 11th in defense. So Illinois was a little bit. So I think Illinois was 21st and 28th. So we'll have one more year of the team having to be in that category to win the tournament.
So with you being the AD of NC State a while ago, what did you like? Did you like the hire that they hired Justin Gainey? What do you think about him? Do you know anything about him?
Well, personally, yeah, he's really close. I'm really close with Justin. Justin got through playing. He was there when I got there and came to me and wanted to know whether he should go into coaching or maybe administration. I said, well, what do you feel in your heart? And he said, well, I'd really like to coach, but it's not really a lot of opportunities. And I said, well, I'll give you a chance at administration. So Justin worked for me almost 7 or 8 years in administration. He's a great fellow, great family guy, really top-notch guy. And then he decided he was going to go into coaching. So he coached at Elon as assistant 1 year. He went to coach with Herb Sendek a couple of years out in Arizona State, I think. Then he went to Marquette and coached under the Duke, not Hurley, but the other Duke point guard that was at Marquette for a while. And then he went to Tennessee. So he's been around it. He understands the other side of it. He understands the administrative side of it. And he's a good person. And he played the most minutes ever for an NC State player in an ACC tournament. They had a 4 overtime game and a 2 overtime game. He never came out of 4 games in a row. And he was and they were not a great team, but won a bunch of games and got to the finals. And so he's a point guard. He understands the game. Actually talked to Herb today. Herb said, he's never sat in that chair, and that's a different chair when you go sit in the head coaching chair. But Herb thinks he'll surround himself with good people and understands that you got to have some no people and yes people on your staff. Can't everybody tell you that everything you're saying is right. And Justin, I think, will do a great job. This day and time, will he give him the time and money to do a good job? So, that's the tough part. It's funny about hiring coaches, though. North Carolina's going away from one of their own and maybe all of their own, which they've always had. And here's Justin Gainey's coming back home because they feel like after the Will Wade situation, they want somebody to be loyal to them. And of course, people at Tennessee I read today were hoping he was going to be the next coach at Tennessee. So Barnes said a lot of great things about him, and he knows after 6 years, he made him associate head coach 3 years ago. So I think he's ready for the job. Everybody's got to have a first job someplace, and I think he'll do a great job, and I know he deserves it.
Lee, there's a lot of discourse between John Shire and Duke's blown leads both last year in the Final Four against Houston. I can't remember. They were up by double digits, and Houston came back and won. And then yesterday having a 19-point lead against UConn and then blowing that and UConn winning in the final seconds. Is that a fair criticism of John Shire?
Well, that's what the fans. That's what hindsight will. You can look at a game and really pick it apart, but I don't think leads in games. My wife will say, "Well, they're 10 points here. They're going to kill them." I said, "Carol, there's 40 minutes, or 38 minutes left. I mean, leads don't mean anything. I mean, right. Like I said, if you get too big a lead early in the first half, which they did, guys start doing things. I can remember as a player 50-something years ago, I took some shots I wouldn't have taken if it had been a close game. And so I know the makeup of the game, the kids, and the coaches know which kids might do that and which kids might not do that. But, leads are just playing well in spurts, and other teams can play well in spurts too. So I never have taken much credit in that. And Izzo probably lost plenty of leads, but they never were 19 because his games are always 2 and 4. So they don't think about that with him. So getting out ahead like that doesn't tell me anything that the coach did good or bad. It's just when it starts going the other way, as Kelly knows, it's tough. When you get on your heels and you're trying to hold on instead of move forward, then you better look out. Some bad things going to happen.
I'm sure you saw the video yesterday of Dan Hurley coming forehead to forehead with, I believe it was Rob Ayers. And that was dangerous because there was still some time on the clock. And if it was another official, he might have gotten teed up, which would have given Duke an opportunity to go to the free throw line and win it. Did Rob Ayers handle that the right way by not teeing up Hurley?
Well, I don't know if he touched him, he's got to call something. But if he didn't touch him and just was running, it's Roger Ayers, I think, too.
Roger Ayers. Yeah.
And I know all those officials, Kelly, because when you do the committee thing, they're all still working. That's been, 23 years ago. Most of the guys were young back then that were refereeing, but he's a great official. He probably didn't like Ayers doing the game because he does a lot of ACC games. He does a lot of Duke Carolina games. So, but they work all different conferences, but not as much as they do in the ACC. ACC is his lead conference. And so I'm sure that they know each other. They know how he is. They try to stay away from an issue with a guy like that because they know he doesn't mean anything because he's found after the game. But, during the game, he's overheated. So I'm sure Roger was trying not to make that play win or lose a game.
So what about Hurley, though? Do you think that he should have known better than because the video I saw, it looked like they were forehead to forehead. Again, I don't know if it was contact, but it looked that way. Should Hurley have kept his emotions in check better? Because we know how he is. Do you think he should have been better in that aspect?
Well, you hope so, but I think he was as shocked they won the game as anybody. Not as shocked as his mother was. Did you see her?
Yeah, I did see
her. Mother looked like a sailor on leave in down Southeast Asia somewhere. I mean, she was putting some cuss words out rapidly and couldn't believe that it happened. And I think Hurley was shocked. We all were shocked. I mean, Duke led the whole game and then the last second shot. But that's the way Dan is. That's the way he coaches. That's what people and he's successful. Give him 3 or 4 years of losing the first round game, and that won't be very successful. People aren't going to put up with that. So it is what it is. And I think that Izzo's the same type guy, but he's mellowed over the years and understands you just can't do that. And I think Dan will too, but right now he's way over the top, I think, on the sideline.
I am going to make you pick because I know you said if your job was on the line, you wouldn't be able to pick Arizona and Michigan, but I am going to make you pick. Who do you think is going to win on Saturday?
I'm going to think that Arizona is going to win.
Oh, wow.
Illinois and Arizona, I think, will play for the championship. What I know, I thought Houston was going to win it all.
What about Illinois, UConn? Go to the other side. Illinois is the favorite right now.
I think Illinois will win.
George?
What does George think's the big thing?
Well,
what does George think?
It's a little early for old Jorge to be putting it out there, but Illinois is a 2-point favorite over UConn, and Michigan is 1.5 over Arizona. I cannot remember a Final Four where the spreads were that close. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a good Final Four. And George, the things that I think about is you've got Arizona in the West, you got UConn in the East, and then you got two adjoining states with Illinois and Michigan. There will be some scalping going on in Indianapolis because they will be driving, and they both can drive to get there. So it'll be crazy in the nap town.
Lee, I got 20 seconds. The person sitting on the top row of Lucas Oil, what will they see?
They'll see a big giant video screen they can watch a game on, and then lots of little ants down there running around.
I love it. Hey, thank you as always. Most importantly, tell your grandson thank you.
Fowler, I want y'all to know that mine might work. Kelly, turn it off, turn it back on, and it worked. So
there we go.
It's technically ready.
Well done.
I'm with you, though. Hey, Lee, I'm with you on that, man. Turn it off and turn it on. Something miraculous will happen.
That's right. That's right. Have a good day, guys.
Hour number 1 is done. Taylor Barnett's in the on-deck circle on the George Plaster Show.
Smashville lives here.
Here's a shot, he scores! Still behind the net, a one-timer! Preds score!
Your home for Preds hockey is 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's almost 420, and Sheba Hut on Donaldson Pike is throwing an all-day party you don't want to miss. Join the celebration Monday, April 20th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. with music all day long. Randy Spencer from DJ Nashville kicks things off, spinning tunes from 11 to 3. Then the Nick Johnson Band takes the stage live from 4 to 10 p.m. Enjoy 420 domestic drafts, mix and match 4 for 20 beer buckets, games, and good vibes all day. Plus, The Buzz will be on site. Sheba Hut on Donaldson Pike. Subs, drinks, music, and a family-friendly 420 celebration.
John Logano throws a massive block on Eric Jones, takes him down to the apron, but Jones is not lifting.
Start your engines as the Cracker Barrel 400 NASCAR triple header this May 29th through 31st storms into Nashville Superspeedway, where horsepower meets Music City rhythm. 3 days, 3 races. It's a high-speed honky-tonk under the lights all weekend long. Get your tickets now at NashvilleSuperspeedway.com or call 866-RACE-TICKS today.
A DePauw University education goes beyond the classroom. Here you'll explore ideas, challenge yourself, and connect what you learn to the world. Ready to think boldly and lead with purpose? Learn more at depaw.edu.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Nissan South. Parents, we know you're running a non-stop taxi service. We also know how hard your high school student works for those good grades. We want to reward them. It's time for our annual student car giveaway. Here's the deal. For every A in your student's report card, they get 1 entry to win a brand new Nissan Versa. Good grades could mean a free car. Just go to newtonnissansouth.com/car giveaway. Students must upload their current report card from this school year. The deadline is June 8th. Don't miss out on this incredible chance at newtonnissansouth.com/car giveaway.
Looking for a true taste of Nashville? Visit Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery, voted top 3 craft distillery tour in the country for 2025. Located just 1 mile off Broadway, it's an easy stop for locals and tourists alike. Walk the distillery floor, learn the history behind the original Tennessee whiskey, and see how it's made today. While you're here, don't forget to enjoy a flight and a meal at our on-site restaurant, Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery, where Nashville's spirit comes to life. GreenbrierDistillery.com for reservations.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bopus. Our forecast this afternoon putting us back up near 80 degrees. A little windy, though. We'll have wind gusts up near 20 to 25 miles per hour and a decently overcast day with a few bursts of some sunshine. Overnight tonight, staying dry, back down to the 60s.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network. In case you missed Robbie and Rexroad.
So sometimes greed puts you in a bad spot down the road, and you wonder about
just overall fandom in a lot of ways. If people can never get in your building, can never have the experience as a kid that like I had with my teams, being able to go to a Detroit Tigers game for reserve seats were $6.50 and the box seats were $8.50. This is when I was like 12 years old at Tiger Stadium. Like, this is something everybody can do and have an incredible experience, and that's how you build lifelong fandom. So now it's the TV deals. Now these are the things that matter. So are you going to have sports fans? Because that seems a little bit better question than, are we growing the business right now and making sure we're in freaking Australia?
Wake up with Robbie and Rexroad. Weekday mornings at 6. Your sports live here on 102.5 The Game.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. Who did Illinois beat to advance to the Final Four in 2005?
Oh gosh.
Goodness, really?
They lost to North Carolina in the final. And truthfully, I haven't got a clue who they beat to get to the Final Four. Not the first clue.
To advance to the Final Four. I would have no clue, Parker. Way out of my realm.
Louisville. Wow.
72 to 57 was the final.
Kelly, I learned a good lesson years ago. It's not Louisville, Louisville.
It's Louisville. Yep. It's just like when you live in Lincoln County, where I'm from, in Fayetteville. You don't call Shelbyville, it's Shebville.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Now, wait a minute. Which letters are you eliminating?
The E and the A, it's like Shebville.
Okay.
It's the L and the Y. It's Shebville.
Right.
You're such a
you know what I'm saying?
You are such a
I am. I'm country as cornbread, but I understand that about myself, Parker. I get it.
We welcome all of you into the 4 o'clock hour. Today, our digs are the homestead. Me on Sedberry, Parker in Guatemala, Kelly in Murfreesboro, and then there's Taylor Barnette with that nasty Illinois hat. Where did you get that thing? Because I know you didn't pay for it.
Hey, listen, there's a good story behind this. So, your favorite watcher of the show, Ross Barnett, Ross Boss, he sent this to my doorstep yesterday and said, you better wear this for the show.
Did he really?
He did.
Oh,
he
that's
did.
Hilarious.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's good stuff.
I had to wear something, Illinois, for all the crap you've been giving them over the last few shows.
Okay, just hang on to that thought. That'll be the second thing we get to. Parker, I want to run the tape again of what went on at the end of the UConn game. Let's go.
Back for Sarr, ahead, Boozer, that ball deflected and stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds, Mullins tosses it out. Ah! It's good! We're point 3! UConn goes in front! Foster. He goes long. It's knocked away and it's over.
That's game.
Okay. So, Taylor, you've been in one of these like the kid that hit the shot. Okay. Yours was not as long. It didn't get a team to the Final Four, but it did get them to the NCAA tournament. When you're put in that position, do you just blank out at how big a shot it is.
Yeah, he was not thinking at all before he let that shot go for sure.
No.
And honestly, ton of credit to Alex Caravan, who's 4-year guy. He could have easily taken that shot, and it wouldn't have been as good as a look. He passed it to his teammate as a freshman. It was really good, and I mean that was straight in. That was pure. So no, you're not thinking when you're just letting that go.
On the Duke side, is it a panic? Because I've got to believe Shire told them in the timeout. Now, look, we've got X number of timeouts. We've got the possession arrow if you get caught in a jump ball. We've got that they got to foul us. Don't do anything stupid. Not that it was stupid. It just happened to get tipped. But was it a panic?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it was a panic. It's a young player. I feel for Caden Boozer on that. I really do. It's a hard situation. Oftentimes, I mean, he had two wide open teammates that had no defenders. They would have both dunked it easily, like layup lines. And you just never think, oh, this is going to get deflected. And it did. I think the hard part is there was 10 seconds to go. So you're not going to get a 10-second call in the backcourt. All you have to do is hold on to the ball, like you said. But in that moment, you're like, oh, I'm just going to advance it. We're going to get the time, to run out completely instead of getting fouled and then still having a possible chance to come down and tie it and send it to overtime. But it just seemed a little bit casual, to be honest. And in those moments, you can't be casual.
Boy, there wasn't anything casual about UConn. In the final 10 minutes of regulation, man, they were money.
They were. I mean, to battle back from 19 and a game to go to the Final Four. And Terrace Reed is a monster, by the way.
Monster.
No kidding.
There's some monsters in the Final Four. It's going to be fun to watch, and it hasn't. I don't feel like it's been that way. It's been all guard play in the tournament, but there's some really good post play in this tournament.
He'll eat that Illinois kid's lunch inside.
My goodness!
Kelly earlier today on the show believed that you should have been spending your time at 9:42 on Thursday night taking care of your son and not worrying about me. Your thoughts?
Well, I wasn't worried about you, I promise. No, and my son was for sure asleep. He might have woken up already once, but he was taken care of. I guess the good part about some of these games starting late is, he's already to bed. But I mean, I'm really, really impressed by Illinois. I really am. I did not think they would beat Houston the way they beat Houston. Then to go to the Final Four is just impressive. They're so skilled. They're huge. I think they really got a chance, and I love that Peja Stojakovic's son's on the team, and he's got game.
Oh, the dad had game as well. So Kelvin Sampson, he's got a home court. His team looked like the team that got scared. I mean, he had to walk off that court Thursday night going, what happened?
Yeah, it was a rare time in the last 4 years or however long this Houston dominance has taken place. It was a rare occasion of Houston being taken out of their game a little bit. You don't see that often. And those guys are used to performing at a high level and in really intense games. And they just looked off. Defensively, they weren't as active and didn't disrupt Illinois as much. And maybe that had a lot to do with Illinois. Let's give them credit. They've got experience at the guard in Boswell, but they also have Keaton Wagler, who's a superstar. But it did. They were turning the ball over. It was just uncanny. But sometimes that happens, and that was just a bad time for that to happen.
Taylor, I remember in November and December thinking Michigan is the best team in the country. And I remember texting my buddy Tim Brando the night he did a national TV broadcast at Maryland where they ripped Maryland a new one. And he told me, he said, sitting at courtside, and, I've sat at courtside enough games. He's like, they are scary. I thought they went through about a 6-week period where they weren't as scary. But boy, yesterday it looked like they found a new level. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they might have hit a little bit of a mid-season lull, and that happens. But you want to be playing your best basketball now, and I think that they are. And I say that very lightly. I mean, they've lost 2 or 3 games all season, and they've had a target on their back all year. Everybody's when they go to play, it's their biggest game. It's the number 1 team in the country, or number 2 or 3. But they are really good. That guy right there is a heck of a player. And they're the total package from guard play to big play. I mean, they can really do everything. To me, it's interesting. I think, the national championship game, the best 2 teams are playing each other, and Michigan and Arizona. I really think watching Arizona, I'm like, can they be beaten right now? That's how good I think they've been playing.
Okay, then let's play this game. Rank them 1 through 4 in your mind.
Yeah, I'm going to probably go Arizona, Michigan, UConn, and Illinois. And I should have just led with Illinois at number 1 just to get you going, and I'm wearing the hat, but I got to be real.
Say that 1 through 4 again.
Arizona, then Michigan, then UConn, then Illinois.
Okay. So lost in the shuffle of this Duke meltdown is who benefits the most besides UConn? And the answer is Belmont. They get Evan Brads in town a week earlier than it looked like. There'll be a press conference Wednesday. Good Lord, what happened to his hair, Taylor? You and I are going to have some fun with that.
No question.
So right now, as he walks in, best as you can tell, who's staying and who's leaving?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think that that's still to be decided for sure. But I think that these guys that are possibly sticking around are going to give him a really good chance, and are going to listen to him, because I mean he's been where they want to go. He spent so much time in the league. He was a 2-time player of the year at Belmont. He's been at Duke, and so I think that these guys are definitely, as they should, give him the chance to stick around, because I think he's going to do a phenomenal job. I'm so happy for him. I'm happy to be back in the same city as him. Definitely going to go on Wednesday to the press conference and support. And but I hope he can keep as many guys around as possible just to get this thing going.
Wear some decent stuff to it. It's going to be a high-level deal. Don't show up in that normal crap.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. All right. Sounds good.
That purple shirt, don't wear that. Kelly, that's an inside joke I'll tell you about later.
Yeah, but I can't believe you're talking about wardrobe right now, George. I really can't. You're telling Taylor not to wear bad stuff? Really?
I'm telling you that if I have to turn it on, I can.
Oh my God. I've seen your wardrobe. You've got a 1985 blazer that's blue, and then you wear your granddaddy's sneakers.
Yeah.
His dress shoes.
I can tell you this. I don't need my dad to send me a hat.
Hey, I didn't ask him to. He just did, okay?
Oh, I know, and I'm going to get all over him about it. So, okay, we know Evan's resume is unlike anybody's in the college basketball world. He's sitting there with Rick Byrd at the top of it. He's sitting there with Brad Stevens at the top of it. He's got Utah Jazz people in it. He's got John Shire. He's probably got Mike Krzyzewski. It's a who's who that he brings to this. What do you think he learned the most at Duke?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't know if I for sure know the answer to that, but it's the first time he's been on the sidelines as a coach in the college game. He's always been in the NBA since he left Belmont as a player. And so, I think just learning from John how he coached the game, it's different. And so I think that he learned probably a lot from Coach Shire, who's, by the way, phenomenal. Just practice, game, in-game situations. And I'm not saying it's totally different. That's something that he really needs to learn. But the college game is different, and he got a great guy to learn under for a year in John Shire.
So one thing we have not talked about, Vandy extended Mark Byington's contract. And let me say this. It's a private school, and they hide behind that private school thing. I don't know why they have to hide behind. How many years did they extend it? We got no idea what this means. And I'll admit, I don't really understand. I don't care if you want to not tell me you're making $4 million a year, but what the hell's the point of hiding how many years?
Yeah, I don't really know. I think the most important thing about an extension is still the buyout, right? And sometimes coaches negotiate, for their buyout to be lower, so that something pops open. It's not astronomical for another school to come in and offer that position. So I still think no matter what the years are, it's the buyout that matters most. And obviously we're not going to know that either. But I don't know. I think it's almost would be encouraging to know that it's through however long. But, like at a mid-major level, College of Charleston just hired John Gross, and, he was on an extension through 2035. It's, so it doesn't really matter in a lot of ways.
Kelly, if you got a thought on it, share it. If not, say hello to Taylor. More importantly, say hello to his dad. You may get a free hat.
I love how George is turning this on me.
He always does that.
We need to get to the next segment.
He's like my wife, man. That's what she does. That's what all wives do. They turn it on you. So that's how George is. Hey, Taylor, everybody in the country, I mean, we even started off the show with this, but everybody says the national championship is Arizona, Michigan. That's what everybody says. And I agree with you. I think Arizona, Michigan, I'll go Illinois and Connecticut because I think it's pretty amazing. It's pretty shocking what Dan Hurley's done. He's gone to 3 out of 4 Final Fours in the last 4 years, which is pretty impressive. And I don't think that anybody thought they were down 19 the other day, and they were it's like the UConn toughness that he talked about at the end. But with that being said, about everybody talking about Michigan and Arizona is a national championship game, which I think it probably is too. But do you think that gives an advantage to Illinois or UConn, whoever wins that game? Because, everybody's saying this, and as a player, that. Everybody's talking about it. You know how big of a game this is between those two teams. And then if we win that one, everybody's going to say, well, this is just – we've already beat the team that we needed to beat. Is that an advantage for Illinois or UConn?
I think it could be a little bit fuel in the fire, kind of like, what George has been for Illinois the whole tournament. But, I think that the reality of it is, who's not saying that is Dusty May or Tommy Lloyd.
Right.
The national championship for them is not the semifinal. It's the national championship, So you could say figuratively, oh, this is the best two teams. Yes, but the reality of it is it's not the national championship. So I don't know if it gives them an advantage. I think it maybe just maybe puts a little fuel on the fire. But at the end of the day, they're still playing for a national championship in Michigan and Arizona. Whoever may meet UConn or Illinois is still going to give their best game and give their all.
It's funny because George always takes questions. I want to show you, George. Kelvin Sampson right there. You see it?
Wow.
You've already asked that, and I was going to ask Taylor that, so I'm going to present it in a different way. You've got two older coaches.
Me.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Oh,
well, yeah. you fluster me sometimes, okay? So I'm going to ask you about two old school coaches, Rick Barnes and Kelvin Sampson. But I said, last year he got to the national championship game. I get it. He was one win away from winning the whole thing. But I've always said until he gets over that hump. And why can he not get over that hump? Is it the way he practices? Does he beat those kids down? Like, is Rick Barnes in the same kind of deal because they're old school guys and maybe their teams are not as fresh? What do they have to do? What do he and Rick Barnes have to do to get over that hump?
Man, that's a great question that I don't have the answer to. I would say that the majority of coaches never get over that hump to winning a national
Yeah.
championship.
Oh, yeah,
It's just
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
it's just a really hard thing to do.
Right.
Or even get to the hump.
Or even get there. Yeah. I mean, it's really hard. And so I think that the way that they've coached both of those guys and that some of the teams that they've had, the talent they've had, they could have absolutely won a national championship. It just didn't go their way last year in the
Right.
national championship for Houston, or, what is it? Rick Barnes has been to what, 3 straight Elite Eights? I mean, it's
Three
just,
straight. Yeah.
what an impressive stat. I mean, that's really tough to do. And especially, I'm impressed by the way he handled this year's team. I felt like they were very limited offensively. So yeah, I think it's more so it's just like the majority of coaches don't get over the hump or even get there, and so it's just a really hard thing to do.
And you talk about their trouble scoring at times, and that showed up the other day. Like they'd been in the NCAA tournament and they kind of got on fire, but the other day they showed what they kind of showed all year without. They got into one of those lulls where they couldn't score, and he's had Dalton Konecki, he had the other kid from North Florida come along, and they were kind of the guys that bailed him out. Is that kind of what he needs? Because Jacoby Gillespie was a great player, and the Nate Ament kid is really good, but he's probably going to be gone because he's a freshman. So is that what he has to do? Because Tony Basilio talks all the time that he's got some new people coming in that he thinks that are going to be something, but we don't know that. But like it always seems like it's defense first for him, which we know, which defense do win championships. But he's got to get guys that can score, and he can't go into those lulls like he did.
Yeah, totally. I think if you take a guy like Tyler Nickel and put him on Tennessee,
Right.
and put him on that team, it really makes a difference. I think
Yes.
that's something they really lacked is just a guy that can really shoot. They had that last year in Chaz Lanier. Dalton Knecht was a pure
Right.
scorer. Nate Lament, there was a lot on his shoulders as a freshman. He got better as the year got on, and he just didn't play very well on Sunday. And then Jacoby was phenomenal all year. But if you add a shooter on the wing to that team right there, I mean, I think they could be right there in the Final Four because you allow for some more spacing on the floor. You got 2 guys inside that can really offensive rebound. They do that unbelievably well. So, yeah, there is an element of, and they need shooting. They got to have some shooting. They didn't have that even coming off the bench. So that's a big deal.
Taylor, will Jacoby Gillespie get a fair chance in the NBA?
I think so. I mean, he's proven it at every level that he goes up. I mean, he's first team All SEC. If you get first team All SEC, you're going to get a chance at the NBA level. Absolutely. And he's so smooth. He's a really good player. He's smart. He can shoot. He can pass. I mean, he's a heck of a player, and I'm super happy for him.
So the trend for Tennessee in the Elite Eight the last 3 years, and really, I mean, if you want to look in totality, the 4 Elite Eights that they've made in their history, they made one in 2010 under Bruce Pearl, lost by 1 point to Michigan State. 3 years ago, when it was Dalton Knecht's team, they lost by 6 to Purdue, took them right to the wire. There was 1 point they had a 10-point lead. Lost to Houston last year by 19, and then just getting bludgeoned against Michigan. So this trend seems to be going in an opposite direction. They do return some front court pieces for next year's team. Dwayne Brown, Jalen Carey has already said that he wants to come back. JP Estrella, but he's going to have to go and replace Gillespie in the portal. So it's kind of like what you and Kelly were talking about. How many shooters do you think that he needs to go out and get in the portal?
Yeah, you got to get at least 3 guys that can score. Because you're not going to get, those guys inside are really important, but they're not Terrace Reed, who's going to maybe get you 25 and 15 in the game. At least that's my opinion. They're really good players, and you need them. They're incredibly valuable. But you have to go get some guys that can really score and some guys that can shoot. And a team like Michigan, look, they're unbelievably skilled. And so Michigan's almost like a double-edged sword. It's like Tennessee has won some games this year by just grinding it out. in stopping a team offensively and scoring enough to win. With Michigan, you got to do both. You know, like you got to keep up scoring with them, and you got to do your best on defense and try to knock them off their game. And so I think in order for them to go deeper next year, maybe make that Final Four run for Coach Barnes, they've got to find a way to get, you know, 2 or 3 guys on the perimeter that can shoot and they can score and go get a bucket when they need one.
So I brought up the idea at the beginning of the show that Michigan and Arizona is your de facto national championship, because I think they've been the 2 best teams really all year since November. Do you think that they're going to beat up on each other so much that it gives maybe the winner of Illinois UConn a chance at the national title game?
Shake your head, Taylor. The answer is yes.
No, don't let him pressure you. You answer how you want to answer.
Okay, no, my answer is no. I think it'll
be that way.
I think it'll be a great game, but as a competitor, and if you think about the NFL like playoffs, like nobody's beating up on each other and it affects them in the Super Bowl. Like there's the adrenaline, the competitor in you. Like, and it's not like they're going to play like a team that's not capable of beating them. Like they're going to playing a UConn or an Illinois team that is absolutely capable of winning the game. But no, I don't think so. I both those teams are going to be beating up on each other just as much. But when you're a competitor and a national championship's on the line, you're not worried about how tired you are, some bumps and bruises. Because I got news for you. You're already feeling that way at this point in the season, regardless. That's just the reality.
I wanted to ask one more question about Jon Scheyer and where he is at this point in time, because you made the comment that he's a good coach, and I'm right there with you. I think he's one of the best in the game. Last year, that blown lead against Houston in the Final Four. This year, the blown lead against UConn. What do you think that says about where Duke is as a program right now under Jon Scheyer?
Well, I mean, I think they're in a really great spot. He's done a phenomenal job. Talk about some shoes to fill, right? I mean, he filled in for Coach K, and he's done unbelievably well. Has already gotten an extension, and I believe that he's going to win a national championship, if not multiple, until, the time that he's going to be at Duke. I think the tendency is when you go up big in a big game is as the clock ticks, you start to play not to lose instead of just keeping the foot on the gas and playing to win. And, they started out that game yesterday hot, and they were aggressive, and they were getting in the lane. They were finding guys, wide open threes. I mean, they were the aggressor. And I felt like in the second half, they cooled off that a little bit and tried to slow the game down. And you got to do that to a certain extent. You have a 19-point lead. But sometimes it's just in those games, you have this tendency to play not to lose. But, once again, those games are so hard to win. It's madness. And Coach Scheyer has done better than anyone could have done taking over that job.
Yes or no, Dan Hurley? Oh, go ahead, George.
No, go ahead.
Yes or no, is Dan Hurley the greatest coach in the sport right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to say that. A pure basketball coach, if you go to 3 or 4 national championships and win 2 of the 4, it's pretty good.
Lakers thought he was.
They did. That would have been interesting to see how that would have played out.
People forget that because J.J. Redick he's done all right, but they offered Hurley the moon. And I bet today he's glad he didn't take it.
Oh, no doubt. I think he's built to be a college coach. It's a totally different deal when he would go to the NBA. I think he's right where he needs to be.
Tell your dad we enjoyed his gift to the show.
I will, man. I'll send it to you next.
I wouldn't wear that thing now that you've touched it. Not a chance. Taylor, thank you as always.
Good to see y'all.
And Ross Boss, thank you as well.
Later.
Okay, here's what we're going to do, Kelly. We're looking for red-blooded Americans.
Red-blooded.
Red-blooded. To be honest, when I say that, I don't really know. I mean, does anybody have blue blood or gray blood, orange blood? I don't know. Anyway, we're looking for red-blooded Americans who've got things they want to talk about. hit the phones now. 615-759-9949. Again, 615-759-9949. I'm guessing you got thoughts about the tournament. I'm guessing that some of you have some football draft stuff you might want to get to. Hit the phones wherever and whatever on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The
The Telephone Man.
Great
We
song.
welcome all of you back on this Monday afternoon. We're going to head to the phones in just a second. We've got one line that's available. Hope somebody will jump in and grab that at 615-759-9949. As soon as I say that, it's full. So as soon as the line comes open, I'll let you know it. Jeff in Murfreesboro, welcome.
How's it going, George?
Good.
George seen the other day at Rick Engel's thing. Parker, where's your Tennessee stuff today? Or Van, are you waiting to pay off later with Tony? How's that bullpen of Tennessee's done? 16-15 Sunday, six run ninth inning. How'd that go for you? Huh?
Sweep.
How'd it go for you,
Tennessee
man?
got swept.
Tough luck. Okay, tough luck. Walk off grand slam, really? Okay. I think Kelly Hogan could have got him out, probably. Kelly Hogan could have got him out. I know he could have. He's a better more athlete than you'll ever be. I can tell you right now. He can beat you with one finger, so I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, but as far as I wanted to ask George, will it be like 1976 all over again in the finals, where there'll be all Big Ten final? In '76, Indiana and Michigan played, and this year it could be Illinois and Michigan. Think it'll be an all Big Ten final?
I mean, it could be. Let me ask you this. I don't have it in front of me. Have we had a final since then where two teams out of the same conference have played each other?
85. '85, Georgetown and Villanova up around.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Georgetown.
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
They shot 95% and beat Georgetown. They're like a 25 point where their favorite was because Ed Pinckney said us against God. We'll see what we can do, against God that night. They're gonna play God, so we'll see what they can beat him. And of course, they beat him that night and won the championship. So that's probably the last time it happened. Was '85 when 3 Big East teams won the Final Four that year: St. John, Georgetown, and Villanova. But,
and the fourth team was the University of Memphis. Back then, Memphis State.
I mean, and also George, this Tennessee business, Tennessee fans tweeted me today. All these Final Fours, Sweet 16s and Elite Eight. How many Final Fours you been to? He's got no answer for that. He has no answer. 0-4 in the regional finals. He's the first coach, George, Rick Barnes, in NCAA men's tournament history to lose 3 straight regional finals, 3 in a row. So is he still a great coach? Do you think he's the greatest one since John Wooden? You and Kevin and the rest of you.
I've never said he's the greatest coach.
I want to know whether he's still a great coach to you. And
I think he's a damn good basketball coach. I think he's a damn good coach.
I do too. It's always eventful when he calls in.
Maybe 3 is it? He's talking about Rick Barnes, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I think he's a really good basketball coach, and I just hear things. I've had people go up there and watch practice. I think he's a really great human being, and I think he's doing it for the right reasons. That's why I like him.
Most importantly, I don't think he cheats. Of course, these days you may say, well, is there such a thing? But in his past, he has none of that.
Yep.
Got one line open at 615-759-9949. Hope somebody will grab it. Eric, line 2, what's going on?
Hey, George, first of all, I will just say a lot of the lines I've heard going on this week after yesterday, now Duke knows how Kentucky feels.
Oh, man, no kidding.
Yeah, with the Christian Laettner shot and stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Duke, I think lost also the year before. Didn't they lose to Texas Tech or they lose to somebody? That's what I thought I'd heard. And in fact, in all 3 of the losses, I think they had leads and blown the leads. In fact, I think that's also, I don't know if it's in tournament-wise, that's also, I think, the 3rd straight time UConn's beating them. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I've got a friend of mine who's going up to the Final Four, who's graduated from the University of Illinois. I think he's going to meet with his dad, who lives up there near the area, and they're going to the Final Four because he's going to support the University of Illinois, and I think he's real excited about that. So that's going to be real interesting to see all that up there. George, a couple more things. I'm going to leave something for last that we haven't talked about yet, but as far as, the whole NIL and transfer portal thing, you've got to admit this. Big Ten, maybe talent-wise, them and the SEC may be even, and certainly the Big Ten football is probably better at the top, but they've definitely gotten a lot better in coaches in now in the last few years in the college football as well as college basketball, where they've been able to just pull off some remarkable stuff. I don't know if the talent level is necessarily unequal, but you got to give credit where credit due right now, and whether or not it's going to change anytime soon, I have no idea. And you got to feel for the University of Tennessee. It's just been rough for them the last few times with them losing towards the end 2 out of 3 to Vanderbilt in basketball. Then, of course, the women get bounced out. You've got the men now losing yesterday. And now, of course, the way they lost in the 3-game series against Vanderbilt, that is just so wild that something like that happens. And like I said, I don't know if any of that stuff's going to get better. But I'll also say one other thing about Vanderbilt. And I'll die on this, George. I definitely think Vanderbilt has gotten better with the NIL, with the college football and basketball with the NIL transfer portal. But I think it actually has hurt them in baseball because they were one of the powerhouse teams. And Tim Corbin has said in the past he wasn't a big fan of it. I think he'll probably get together, but it's just going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. It's made it a lot tougher on these schools with the new normal and everything, and we'll just have to see what happens. And also, congratulations to Mark Byington for signing that extension. Vanderbilt doing that. That is certainly big for them, and I certainly think it's something they had to do. And George, one last thing, and I'll get off. And there's something we haven't talked about yet, and that's the whole Tiger Woods thing. What in the world is that guy still doing driving behind the wheel of a car? I would think by now not have a license to be doing that. That's like about the third or fourth time his accident or whatever. And it's lucky that the guy is still alive. But to me, there is just absolutely no way he should be behind the wheel of a car. Either he should have another driver, or certainly his license or whatever should be revoked. It's just surprising to hear that something like that is happening again. And supposedly it appears and it's sad that he's, I guess, addicted to painkillers, and he needs to get whatever help he needs to help with whatever problems he has. And it's just real sad. You just, after hearing that stuff earlier in the week about him being there at the golf deal and all that type of stuff, and that this happened. And I think wasn't he supposed to be like, I guess, head of the was it Ryder Cup or whatever was golf deal sometime next year in 2027? What was that?
Oh, I don't know. I think he has been, Kelly, help me with this. Has he not been the head of the PGA committee as though like
I think that's yes, he has.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I know what Eric's talking about because they talked about it the other night with him. But yeah, he's kind of the guy. He's the guy that moves the needle. Brad Faxon said it on the broadcast the other day in the Houston Open. He's the guy that moves the needle, and it's so unfortunate that all this stuff has happened to him. It's it's not drinking problems. He's got pain pill problems, and with some of the pain that I've had, I can totally understand. Now, would I get behind a wheel? Probably not. Yeah, I think Eric is 100% correct. He's got enough money. Get a driver.
Bingo. Eric, I got to run.
He just turned 50. Take care, George. We'll talk to you soon.
Let me get to Frank in Smyrna. Frank, give me about 3 minutes if you can.
Okay, George, not a problem. Good afternoon, gentlemen, from rainy and wet Siesta Key, Florida. I think the summer rain pattern may have arrived here a little early, but anyway, I attended the Predators Tampa Bay Lightning game yesterday in Tampa, and George, the officiating sucked on both sides, and I just got to say, John Cooper was wearing the officials out most of the game. Barnette was wearing the officials out. The team captains were wearing the officials out. Player for the Lightning got ejected there the last 5 or 6 minutes, and that was a tough loss. I walked out of there really disappointed. We played pretty well.
Yeah,
we got to show for it.
That's the bad part is they didn't play half bad.
No, they played well enough to win that game, and Tampa is that is a hard place to win. The fans there, there's about 20,000 of them, and they fill that building up, and they are diehards. I think the whole city shuts down when the Lightning have a home game. It's what an atmosphere, and I can remember when Bridgestone Arena used to be like that, and hopefully get back to that point. But these 5 games coming up on the road, though, with the Kings and the Ducks and the Sharkies, that's going to tell the story whether we get in the postseason or not. We have to win, in my opinion, at least 3 of those. If we don't, I don't know it's going to happen. And I hope we do, but I just don't know. And
well, if they don't, they're going to need a lot of help from people playing the Kings, San Jose, Seattle, whatever. Anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean to butt in on you.
Oh no, that's fine, George. And I will also say, Kelly, the arena in Tampa still smells like barbecued water lizard. What people are still talking about that down there, and how Florida went in there into that building last weekend and just got embarrassed. But anyway, and Parker, did you enjoy the Vanderbilt game yesterday as much as I did? Week.
Frank, let me explain something to you. So I actually decided to stay home because Tennessee and Michigan were playing around the same time. There's too much overlap.
Wait a minute. You could have left at 12:30 and gotten home.
It was an executive decision. I decided to stay home. And once they already had the series lost on Saturday, I didn't really care. So I was watching the Tennessee and Michigan game on the couch, and they were just getting bludgeoned. And then I look down at my laptop because I got a little multi-screen going, and I see the grand slam to walk it off for Vandy. So it was like taking two daggers to the heart at the same time. And all I'm asking you to do is feel sorry for me.
Parker, personally, you don't get me wrong. I do. But today, any Vandy fan is ever going to feel sorry for any University of Tennessee fan right now. No, sorry, 100% not going to happen. I like you, Parker. Don't get me wrong. But no, us Vandy fans have put up with it from years from the volunteer fan base. It's nice to beat you in everything right now. I'm thoroughly enjoying it for as long as it lasts. Whether that's tomorrow, next week, next month, I don't know. Whatever. I'm just going to ride.
Frank,
it.
I got to run on that. Check your text message because I just sent you something.
Okay, that sounds good, George. Thank you very much.
We'll go to the break. I want to ask Kenny the mailman and Tony in Nolensville to hang with me. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Are you tired of living with back pain? What would you do if the pain was gone?
At the Dr. Gill Center, we've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years break free from pain and get back to living life. We're committed to your outcomes, and our caring team listens, understands, and offers real solutions to neuropathy, back pain, and joint pain without unnecessary surgery or medication. Choose the clinic that listens. Choose the clinic that cares. Call the Dr. Gill Center today at 615-882-4838.
Let's make your pain-free life a reality.
Nashville, get ready to make history. On April 19th at Geodis Park, the Music City Rugby Shootout brings the first ever Major League Rugby match to Tennessee. It's a powerhouse showdown. The Chicago Hounds take on the three-time champions, the New England Free Jacks, in a clash you won't want to miss. Feel the intensity, hear the hits, experience the speed, the rivalry, and the electric atmosphere of professional rugby live in Music City. One match, history in the making. Be there April 19th at Geodis Park. Get your tickets now at chicagohounds.com.
Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Green Hills Mall.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, final segment of the show. And I'm going to ask for a lightning round because I got 4 callers on the line. So I want each of you, if you can, help me. Give me about 2 minutes each. Kenny the mailman, get us started.
George, really, really good news. I'm glad I got through. I got an extra ticket for the Final Four. Are you interested?
Heck yeah, I'm interested.
That's the good news. The bad news is you have to go as the Illinois mascot.
Damn.
That's well done.
Hey, it could be done. Listen, let me ask you this. And I know they didn't do it, but there were 20,000 people at the game screaming, a national audience. What in the world was Hurley thinking? I know he has this little act where he's the toughest guy in America. Runs straight at an official screaming. In that kind of atmosphere, a lot of men's first response would have been, hey, don't come near me. You got a technical. And don't say stuff like that doesn't happen, because I was sitting at a game when a tennis ball rolled across the court and got a technical. Can y'all imagine if that would have happened? And talk about what would you have thought if it had happened. Y'all have a great day.
Man.
Go line up.
Thank you. Okay, real quickly, guys, would you have teed him?
I thought there was contact there.
I did
That's all
too,
I'm
man.
gonna
There's
say.
no way you get that close without contact. I don't think he meant to hit. He was just trying to be this tough guy, like being in it. I don't know, man. It looked like he touched him. If he touches him, that's supposed to be a tech, correct?
If that had been UNC Wilmington, tee him
he's
up.
gone.
You'd
Yeah,
have gotten it.
absolutely.
Tony in Nolensville, I got 2 minutes for you. Go.
Well, I'm going to try to be quick. First, I've got to set the table. Kelly, last week you had to depart. In doing so, though, I brought a challenge to Mr. Parker, and I challenged him to a Cracker Barrel breakfast. The loser of the Vanderbilt, Tennessee series would have to buy breakfast for the other one. And while sitting there eating breakfast, they had to wear the other team's colors and their hat. So, Parker, I asked you, and you asked me, did I have a jersey? I asked you, which color do you want to wear? Gray, white, black, gold? I've got several colors. I'm going to bring. Which one? I'm giving you the preference. Which Vanderbilt jersey do you want to wear? And I'll bring you a national championship hat. I've got two. You've only got one, but I'll let you wear this. We're going to have breakfast, and George and Kelly, of course, is invited too. You're going to have to buy all three of our breakfasts. I'm going to let you.
Oh, nice.
Because there's nothing sweeter than squeezed orange juice except a successful squeeze play in the 16th, making it a walk-off.
Wow.
Just give me the least noticeable one, Tony, and I'll be fine. Just give me the least noticeable jersey. I'll be fine.
I'm going to give you Tony's
You
phone number.
Guys, I have to be a little easy on Parker because he is a Cubs man like I am. But I had to bring it out. Kelly, I knew you would love it. I knew that you would like it, that we went deep. I put him on the spot. He was hesitant to answer, but George got him out of it. He said he took the challenge. So I'm going to let y'all set it up, and we'll go to breakfast, and I'll bring you a nice gold jersey and let you sit there and put it on. You'll look nice in it, I'm sure. Anchor down, Parker. Love you guys. See ya.
Let me go to Tony in Bucksnort. Tony in Bucksnort, I got 2 minutes. Do your best.
All right. Last week, you guys had a guest on, and you were talking about the history of Tennessee basketball and listed a lot of bad coaches. And I always wonder why Jerry Green gets lumped in with those guys, because he had 2 first-place finishes and won like 90 games in 4 years. And I never even knew why he got fired. I guess maybe not enough tournament success, but I always wonder why he's lumped in. Maybe you could talk about that one day. And then also, I love how nobody seems to be giving UConn any respect. They don't have the national media hype train behind them like Duke does, but they have more national titles than Duke, 6-5. That's 6 since 99. And if they wouldn't have made the horrible decision to join the AAC and were in there for 5 or 6 years, they might have a couple more. That killed their recruiting when they went to the AAC. But I heard earlier on another show today that people thought that headbutt incident was like, they were like playful banter. So I was not able to watch the game live because we had baseball, but that's what I heard on another show. But UConn is getting slept on, and I have a feeling that they're going to pull it out. There's been a lot of teams that weren't expected in the national championship game to pull it off, like NC State, Villanova. You can go down the list. And then UConn that one year, they were an 11 seed. But I think they're getting really slept on, and I guess we're going to find out, in 5 or 6 days. You guys have a great one.
You made a great point on Jerry Green. Much better record than he's been given credit for. Okay. Parker, do you believe UConn can win it all?
No, just because I think Michigan and Arizona are that good.
Kelly, do you believe that UConn can win it all?
I do not. Same thing with Parker, man. Watching Arizona and Michigan, they're for real. It could play in their hands. I'm not sure UConn gets past Illinois, though. I'll be honest with you.
The answer is yes, they can.
Okay.
Remember, I'm not saying they're gonna, but they could. And that guy, even though he's a psycho, Dan Hurley can coach. There's something about him that gets it done. Jerry in Hartsville is our final call. Jerry, I got 2 minutes.
All right, George, how you doing?
I'm good. Hope you're good.
I am good. All right, quick question. Going into the tournament, we were hearing all this. Joe Lunardi said this. Joe Lunardi said that. Last 4 in, first 4 out. Has anybody looked to see how he did this year?
I haven't. I'll admit I haven't. But most years he's within 1 or 2 of the entire field. I don't have the answer.
Right.
However,
I knew that would be tough to answer, but that just crossed my mind. How accurate is he?
Pretty dang accurate. They wouldn't keep him. They wouldn't keep him on there if he weren't. But I'm trying right now to see if I can pull up his stuff, and I'm having a hard time. What I'm saying is it doesn't look like it's here. But you know what? I'll do my best. Fair enough?
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
Take care.
That's a good question, man, because nobody ever follows up on that stuff, and I've never thought about it either. It's just like, people have short memories. We're talking about the NFL referees earlier in the show. Nobody remembers about 2012, but, I'm not sure about that either because you never check, the first in, first out. You never check about stuff like that.
So, Parker, you want to go to a plaster bet of the day while I'm fumbling around here?
And we can recap. George, make sure this is correct. You and Larry Schmittou.
Oh, he absolutely.
Oh, boy.
He smoked me.
Oh, Lord. Larry. I see you, Larry.
He's happy.
He's happy.
He's a whole lot happier than I am. So I'm going to leave you with one tonight. That's, I never thought I would say this. The Atlanta Hawks tonight -2 at home against the Boston Celtics.
George, you're betting a lot of the NBA here lately.
Well, I don't have any choice tonight.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I mean, that's the reason. So, just remember you heard that. The Hawks are a good young team. Getting rid of Trae Young was good. If the season stopped at this moment, they would be the 6th seed in the East, and nobody wants to play them. Tomorrow, Tony Basilio and others. See you then.
Now, here's your latest Red Weather Report.